Today, Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar began the debate of the Constitution Amendment Tobago Bill in Parliament. The bill seeks to give Tobago internal self-government. Persad-Bissessar stated that she is not surprised that the opposition chose not to vote in favor of the bill, as it is not the first time a bill like this has been laid in Parliament before an election. She said at that time they supported the bill but lost the election.
For the bill. This notwithstanding the empty and hollow proclamation of support for the principle of greater autonomy for Tobago. And yet still, in their 43 years in government, they ignored the pleas and cries of Tobago people who were clamoring for a greater sense of constitutional freedom, political liberty and autonomy. And even whilst the actions didn't match the words, they continued to speak glibly, espousing political rhetoric about the importance of Tobago. Let me quote from then Member of Parliament, the Honourable Mr. Fitzgerald Hines, during that debate, Mr. Speaker.
Don't hear anything.
Let me say again that we of the People's National Movement hold absolutely no objection or have any problems with the question of autonomy for the people of Tobago. We're in agreement with the principle of this legislation. In fact, the records will show patently that a long time ago, we had considered that it would be unhelpful, even sinful, to object to that kind of position. We understand that Tobago cannot be treated as any other region, district, or municipality. In 1996, they had no objections or problems. Yet 17 years later, before the debate on this most important issue, they have bluntly stated they will not support the bill. A most tortured, Mr. Speaker, a most tortured and tangled position. And so, I read the Honourable Member Sanford East may return to the Parliament shortly. The reports. And so whilst the PNM claimed they understood the unique position of Tobago in our republic, it is, in fact, it continued to treat Tobago as any other region, district, or municipality. Reflect then, I say to members on the other side, reflect on what your leader, your former leader, Mr. Manning, might have done if he were here.
The PM said the views of the THA have been respectfully received, but our government will continue with their action. She is also of the belief that their call for a tripartite committee is unnecessary, as the Joint Select Committee acts as such.
This Parliament. The proposal for a Joint Select Committee, that is one of the bodies that is mandated, could be mandated by the Parliament, Mr. Speaker, to look at legislation, to receive and take the views of anyone and everyone, Mr. Speaker. That committee is inherently a tripartite committee, a tripartite mechanism, because it consists of members of the government, members of the opposition, and independents, Mr. Speaker. That is the composition of a Joint Select Committee. So it's already tripartite in that sense. Further, Mr. Speaker, the THA or any person will have the opportunity, should they so desire, to give their submissions and their contributions for consultations to take place, that they can make recommendations to the Joint Select Committee, Mr. Speaker.
She also recollected that in 1977, the PNM-led government dissolved the Ministry of Tobago Affairs after an unfavorable election result. After the amendment of the Constitution, the PM states that this will never happen.
Mr. Speaker, I think never again must a Prime Minister be allowed to dismantle a government ministry out of spite for people who did not vote for his party. If there is any Chief Secretary who has said to the population of Tobago that they will not be forgiven for voting against the PNM, then the people of Tobago must be able to see the clear link between the mindset in 1976 and the mindset now in 2013. It's the same. Nothing has changed. Nothing was done between 2002 and 10 to introduce internal self-government. No manifesto promises were made about internal self-government for Tobago by the PNM.
There have been complaints by various political sectors that the timing of this bill is ridiculous because of the impending THA elections.